Mother Ghana. So these are the topics that we've tabled for our conversation. May I remind you that we are streaming live on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, everywhere. Make sure you join the conversation, and make sure when you do, you share the feed so others can get the opportunity to watch the show as well. I always tell you that we are not the sole repositories of knowledge. And, you out there, you have what it takes to also contribute quite significantly to this, the conversation that we'll be having this morning. And so, please, may I remind you, you are reminded that you can share your views via those platforms. And I will be more than willing to read them out here for you. Let's go to Burkina Faso and look at what is happening there. So, look, Burkina Faso, the military leadership is saying that they've extended their regime by 5 years. Since the takeover, we have not heard that, that the people are still suffocating. I'm sure they're not going to see an overnight, resuscitation of the economies. But what I do think is that at least if you have a leader that is poised to bring development to its people, I think it's like a tsunami. Nothing can stop it. The question will then become why they are extending their regime by 5 years. But it also finds expression in the derivatives of what they intend to do for the people. So let me start the conversation with you so that you share your thoughts with us here on the show.
Yes, Carmen, good morning. Welcome back home. Home sweet home. Yeah. I'm sure you were missing the local dishes. And you also missed a lot on the political scene. You see, that is where I've always had a problem with the military junta. Captain Traore or the military leader may be doing well, but the point is, who is giving him that power to extend his stay to 5 years? And why 5 years? He has to immediately put in place strategies to return the country back to constitutional rule. I always say constitutional rule because in your intro this morning, you say we are not repository of all knowledge. What it means is that for you to develop, you need the entire Burkinabe society to rally around you and develop. Military leaders usually do not entertain divergent views. It's do before complain. Yes, massa. Yes, massa is not what we need. So the general must come clean. He must not try to abuse the trust that the people are reposing in him. I mean, on the economic front, one will say that he's doing something good, better than what our country is going through. But we cannot say because his performance is better than Ghana, therefore we must endorse military leaders. His performance is better than Ghana because Ghana, we made a mistake to vote for a leader who is military inwards. Nana Akufo-Addo is military inwards and only civilian to the general public. So he's taking this country through a military regimental system.
You mean constitutional dictatorship?
You have been using this. I wanted this word terminology to come. Constitutional dictatorship.
Or democratic tyranny.
Exactly. and if you are going to compare these two countries, you will make the mistake that the coup in Burkina was a necessity. Because if you go back to Burkina, the same issues that led to the overthrow of the civilian leader is still pervasive. They are being haunted by the so-called Islamist extremists, which we have been educated that people are just hiding behind some of these religious bodies to do whatever please them, which activities are not sanctioned by any of these religions, by their own parochial interests. And so it is still there. Once those problems are still available, then you cannot tell me you have succeeded. You understand? So he should not do what I can tell you that after the 5 years, he may be using the 5 years to prepare his own political party. That's what they normally do. They come in, study the terrain, do things that are populist in nature so that they will win the sympathies of the people. Then they give themselves another 5 years. 5 years' time, they would have established a political party, established the structures across the entire country. They said, let's go and hold elections. Elections definitely will be rigged. He wins first term, which is about 5 years. Then the next term becomes bloody. Then the people will be fighting to overthrow the very monster that they are entertaining today. We must not encourage that. You see what is happening in Mali? As though they are thinking alike. Mali, to what are they doing? They say they have extended their mandate. They need more time. Then Niger will also come in. They need more time, and it becomes entrenched. They should go back to the civilian rule, democratic rule, and let leaders that would engage the entire Burkinabe society take decisions for them. And this is also to let politicians understand that the era that we are in, KWAME, nobody is waiting for their lackadaisical attitude, this corrupt mentality, this attitude of not serving the people. Nobody is interested in that again, because the way and manner and the direction the world is going to, politicians must be very, very careful. I'll end it.
Very well. I mean, if you want to apprise yourself with the facts of the story, so it is not an authoritarian decision, rather a decision by the charter which was put together for the purposes of ensuring that things are done smoothly. So if you read the story, it says that okay, so what was supposed to be a 2-day national dialogue began earlier Saturday, ostensibly to chart a way back to civilian rule for the West African nation beset by jihadist violence. The army has governed Burkina Faso since 2022, carrying out 2 coups d'etats that it justified in large part due to the country's persistent insecurity. Jihadist rebels affiliated with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group have waged grinding insurgency since 2015 that has killed thousands and displaced millions. An initial national dialogue adopted a charter that installed Traoré as president and put in place a government and a legislative assembly. Under the new charter agreed Saturday, quotas will no longer be used to assign members of traditional parties seats in the assembly. Instead, patriotism will be deemed the only criteria to select deputies. The initial charter sets the duration of the transition to civilian rule at 21 months, with a deadline due to expire on July 1st. But Traoré had repeatedly warned that holding elections will be difficult given the precarious security situation. Civil society representatives, the security and defense forces, and lawmakers in the Transitional Assembly were taking part in this weekend's talks, but most political parties boycotted the talks. AFP. So that's a report by AFP. Yeah.
This is authoritarian decision. Where were the political parties? You shouldn't create the impression as though Burkina Faso do not have existing structures. There was a president in place. What is preventing him from holding elections or leaving power in July? He wants to perpetuate his state.
May I repeat? What is the purpose of an election?
It's to elect leaders of the country.
Yes.
Yes.
Is he not a leader now?
But who elected him? There is a reason why we wake up at 5 a.m. to go and queue, to go and vote for our preferred choice. If he wants to lead Burkina, he must go and join a political party or form a political party, bring his ideas. What sort of idea did he bring? What did he campaign on for him to come and lead the country?
What was the basis for the coup d'etat?
The coup d'etat was the most useless coup d'etat I've ever encountered. You are the military men. You are supposed to defend the country against external aggression. You are failing to do your part.
No, you didn't. You see, I don't think that you should limit yourself to the conversation about whether or not they failed. It's about whether or not they were resourced to be able to.
What is this? You see?
For instance, look, hold on. If you're a teacher and you're in a classroom and the materials that you need to teach, you don't have those materials, how do you go and teach?
See, I don't think Ghana Army is providing more logistics than the Burkina Army. But we are defending ourselves. You have been given, it's division of labor. You understand? You have been given your role to play. The taxes that we collect as a country is known to the military. You are given your budget. You operate within the budget. If your angle or your aspect, your department is not performing well, you don't turn around and go and overthrow the president.
Yeah, but you've seen the turnaround of events since the military took over.
But they are still complaining. Why is he saying that he's extending his mandate?
No. He's extending his mandate because of the volatile nature.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't necessarily mean that. Obviously, it's not going to be a 9-1. But 2 weeks is not enough to deal with the fundamental issues for which he's in the
but overthrowing the civilian government, the time that he had in power, was it enough to have achieved all that they were expecting him to achieve?
Oh, yes.
Why? No, but why didn't they allow the Burkina people to go back to what do you call it? Elections, go and vote the person out? But he rather decided to truncate the democratic dispensation of Burkina Faso.
So, I mean, democracy, the people are dying, we are experiencing, and I think the report is quite axiomatic that when I don't support.
Do you support coup d'etat?
No. I support proper leadership. I'm not supporting coup d'etat. I'm not supporting. Of course, I mean, you have sat here and have described the president as a democratic dictator.
Yes.
Okay. I do not like a democratic.
No, but
dictator.
we have institutions that are supposed to take him out.
No, I do not like a democratic dictator.
Yes.
And whether you like it or not, there are exigencies which can lead to coup d'etats. Right? And one of such is the conduct of the leader who has been put there to perform, his functions for the benefit of the people. So, do you know that before the overthrow of their president, the insurgents had moved further down, almost close to
What was the military doing?
The point is, but if you don't have what it takes
so
to
now
fight,
they have it.
Now they have it.
All of a sudden they have it.
Haven't you seen?
You see it. Look, remember.
They said that instead of resourcing the military, they were not resourcing the military.
They will always find. What excuse didn't were we not given by generals and the school makers? What excuse were we not given by? Huh? You are here. I didn't know you were here. Every coup maker will find an excuse as to why they would embark on this venture. Remember, when the civilian president was overthrown, Damiba came in. He was a military leader. You understand? Within a space of, was it 6 or 8 months, he was overthrown by another military leader. So what are we talking about? As we speak, people are planning to take him down. This Traore, within the military itself, it's about power. They want to enrich themselves, amass wealth, and go away. That is all that they are doing. That is why the political parties boycotted this particular dialogue. Because for them, we have struggled. It has taken a lot of pain to establish all these structures. Then you just come and take them down.
So you think the politicians must enjoy, but the military people, they are not.
I am saying that, like what is happening in this country. Why do you think we come here every morning and I say that Baumia must not get 13%? Why do you think I'm doing that? Because it will be inimical to the growth of this country. I can only use my math to convince the people on my policy. But why must I go and take gun and go and take him out?
So do you think that? And this is a general question. Of course, I mean, so okay, I'm done with you.
Yes.
But Dr. Bazouk,
But I want you to state your position clearly. I'm
not for. I'm just for responsible leadership. But the point is that if your country is in turmoil, so if the country is volatile, we have insecurity and things like that. So your concern will be to organize elections rather than dealing with the issues. Because that's what you're saying.
My concern is
that whereas the people are dying.
The military must play its role.
But the state is not providing the necessary resources. Says me, I'm telling you.
That is what you have been told.
That is what I know.
But the man is complaining about the very reason he came to overthrow the civilian government.
He has not complained.
Why is he saying he's extending his money?
He is saying that.
You take over. Let's go. Take over. We have to go.
Honorable Senator, good morning. Good morning to you. I trust you are well.
I'm very well, thank you.
No, you see, this man is asking me to state my position. I don't have a position. So help me state my position.
Ideally, he shouldn't have a position. Ideally, he should not have a position. Because his is to interrogate.
Yes.
So he wants the best out of us. Yes. He should not have a position.
Exactly.
But if he conducts himself in a manner that suggests that he has a position, then he has to come out.
He has moved from being
Moderator to taking part in panelists.
I was asking questions.
Asking difficult questions.
But ideally, he should not. He has the right to ask any question.
Yes, and that's what I'm
and
doing.
should not have any position.
Thank you. So I don't have a position. I'm only asking questions, and to which you are answering. Thank you very much, Dr. Mazouk.
Good morning to the cherished viewers of ours. Good morning to distinguished co-panelists. I miss you all. I was in UK to serve Mother Ghana and humanity, not to chill. Right. Okay, so my position is very clear. A military junta anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. And there's in no circumstance should we justify the military takeover. We cannot. This is not to say that we should also be silent on the factors of military takeover. In any case, anytime at all, we have come to a stage in African politics where military dictatorship cannot be discussed in isolation. In fact, it should be discussed within the context of constitutional tyranny. So it is a matter of choice. You either choose constitutional tyranny or military dictatorship. And both of them are evils. We should not entertain any of them. Unfortunately, the military everywhere in the world will find very good reasons to justify their stay. And that is why we should not entertain them. Kwame, let me tell you something. Look, the man claims they didn't have any resource. If that was the case, they should have resigned. They should have made it public. They never did that. It was a constitutional regime. It was not a military regime. They could have voiced those concerns. They never did that. We only knew that they didn't have resources when they took over. So that means whatever he's saying could itself be a fabrication. Now you have just come in, and all over a sudden, I mean, is illogical. Yeah. Suddenly, the resources have come. It doesn't make sense anywhere. Even with the availability of the resources now, you are still challenged. You know, the insurgents are still threatening. They are there. They are still threatening the state. Even with the availability, so-called availability. Let's say, yes, I mean, I can give them credit on the fight against imperialism in that part of the world. In fact, they have done well. One, they have resisted French imperialism. They have resisted French supremacy. They have resisted French military might, and they are doing well. For that one, fine, they've done well. But even the economy, Burkinabés are still not outside the economic mess. They are not. So we should not create the impression that his call for the extension is justified. It's never justified. It is another opportunity to perpetuate his stay and the stay of the junta. And at the end of the day, just as Solo has rightly said, at the end of the day, they will form a political party. We have seen it in all of in any part of Africa where there is a coup d'etat. Even outside West Africa, take Egypt. Sisi. Yes. Take Ghana, John Rawlings. Everywhere in the world, wherever there is a coup d'etat, the military, when they come and test the power, they want to they want to stay. So we should not. This is not to say, look, there is an adage in the Bani that if you blame the Dawa because it is too stinky, then you must also blame the vulture. I mean, if you blame the vulture, you must blame the Dawa. So ours is to condemn both forms of dictatorship, constitutional tyranny. In this country, we will resist constitutional tyranny. And even when the army is deployed on us, we should be able to confront the tanks, because that is our constitutional responsibility. And we have a responsibility to protect the constitution at all costs. And that is what the Burkinabés should do. You are asking whether they didn't have strength. In fact, they had every reason to resist the dictatorship, that constitutional dictatorship. Within the confines of the constitution, they have elections. Now, you overthrew a 5-year term. Mm-hmm. You came, and you want to give, and then you have enjoyed some period, and you still want a 5-year term. What is the difference between the constitutionally prescribed 5-year term and the military junta? Definitely. I mean, these people are coming to you, and I'm calling on the people of Burkina Faso to ensure that the country returns to constitutional normalcy. Let them stand to reason that they will no longer accept a situation where the military junta will continue to rule. In fact, and let Ghana also learn from that. No matter the situation, no matter the factors of constitutional tyranny, we must at all times protect the sanctity of this constitution. We should not do anything that will send us back to the dark ages when the mere military uniform was a source of tear and fear, when the military barracks was a citadel of torture and murder, and when the military gun was a source of death. We should not. We should not. We should not.
Very well.
Thank you.
Honorable, good morning again.
Good morning to you, and good morning to my co-panelists, and equally importantly, good morning to our cherished viewers.
I love your outfit, by the way.
Thank you.
Very regal. It resembles the butterfly movement.
I almost flew.
Very colorful,
yes.
very African,
Yes.
very regal.
That's right.
Let me start by stating certain positions. One, I'm not in favor of coup d'etats. Let's get that clear. I'm also not oblivious to the fact that people always ignore what cause coup d'etats and are quick to denigrate coup d'etats without really challenging and looking at what creates coup d'etats. And I like my colleague Dr. Massoud's position as to coup d'etats are not good and constitutional tyranny is also not good. So the question then comes, if you have constitutional tyranny, where you have state capture, what is your alternative? And that question I'll leave for him possibly to answer. Because if state institutions have been captured to the point where your democracy is but a charade, a sham, what alternative are you leaving for the people? Because you have mentioned A and B. And the question is, both of them have their faults. Then I ask myself, what was Lee Kuan Yew? How long did Lee Kuan Yew rule for? Today, Singapore is being classified as one of the best examples of how democracy should be. Have we forgotten how he came and the basis upon which he lasted? So, are we justifying his existence, or is it the end justifies the means? In other words, if you look at him, Singapore today, are we saying that the kind of rule he brought was justified or not? You mentioned Rawlings. Today we are all talking about democracy. There were 5 assassination attempts on Kwame Nkrumah before he was finally overthrown in 1966. There was a coup d'etat, a return to civilian rules in 1969. By 1972, there was a military takeover. By 78, the military themselves had gotten themselves in a mess. There was an internal coup where Akufu took over from Achampong. By 79, Rawlings came and took them all out. By the same 79, within 3 months, as you are rushing, they went back to civilian rule. By 1981, it seems as if business as usual. Rawlings came back in 1981. From 1981 to 1992, 11 years. Today, we are all benefiting from that. There has been no coup d'etat that has been successful in Ghana. And today we are talking about constitution. Ghana is a bastion. It started somewhere. So, yes, you say coup d'etats are not good. You look at the leader, you look what he's doing, and you try to get him to get back on track, which is democracy. But he must strengthen the institutions so that there are checks and balances. And you don't allow a situation where state capture can occur. for people to try and perpetuate their rule, because at least under democracy, they always keep an eye on the military, because they come like a policeman behind your back. But if you have military rule, who is the policeman? There is no policeman. So what then happens is you then have the Rawlings type scenario where a military ruler will take over another military ruler. Then the young boys will say this is not good. They come and take everybody over. We don't need that in any country. But you see, the problem, or the issue, not a problem, with some of with democracy is that you have unhidden or unseen hands. Why? You think that France is happy with what is going on in the Francophone countries? And my colleague made a statement that, oh, how did he have money now he doesn't have? Look, that whole terrorist zone is not an issue just for France. The whole of the West, the whole of the, are worried about this terrorist insurgency. So if they find in their minds they have somebody who is in a position to really deal with it, the money will come overnight. So that answers the question that was being asked. Everybody realizes that if they are not careful with Burkina and Mali, it can destabilize the whole of the West African sub-region. Then there's the factor of the cheating of those countries by their colonial master, in terms of, and which you commended as well, in terms of the French involvement. Give them their money. Let them benefit from their own money. Why? We are not talking about that. We are talking about whether somebody should come or not. For a democracy to thrive, it needs its own funds. How can you take all your money and give it to someone and the person tells you that I'll lend you your money on the basis of, and you pay interest at my own money's rate? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So why hasn't France come out to say, look, we are changing the arrangements? And that will then help democracy to, then we put pressure and say, because I don't agree with the 5-year, what's it called, extension. It's different to say that I'm going to be there for 1 more year, I want to see. Then saying I'm there for 5 years. No.
Yes, give it
you understand? No. So if the 5 years comes and you haven't solved your problem, are you going to get another 5 years or what? No. If you are moving towards the democracy, let us give you the benefit of the doubt and say that I'm going to look at it after 1 year, but I'm trying to push. But the boycott by the political parties is a sign, as my colleague has said, that no, all is not well. But how many of them are also stooges? Playing to puppets and the string master is pulling.
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't make blanket statements. That this, our only statement I like about what and the way you put it, and then Dr. Mansour polished it for us, is that constitutional tyranny is as bad as a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat like Lee Kuan Yew, with a benevolent, inverted commerce dictator, if there's such a thing, can lead to the prosperity of a nation in the future. We are talking about China and their communist system, blah, 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 blah. Today, China is a force to reckon with. Technology-wise, construction-wise, economic-wise. But if you look at the system they had, if we listen to all the textbooks and the readings, then China was going to be a failed state. Some will even say it's a failed state now because they haven't given their people certain... But they travel more than anybody. And you know the funny thing? When they travel, they are looking to go back to their country. They are not hoping to stay. They will take the money, but they will go back to their country. They go to Europe, they do holidays, they go to they go back to China. So, before we condemn, let's go and see what people have done that benefit. Because there's a factor nobody takes into account. Human beings by nature, we are very stubborn. We are very, very, some things are so clear-cut. Yet you see people pushing it, and we are living it today. The thing is in your face, you can see that this is not right. You are still pushing it. Why? And when trouble comes tomorrow, we will sit on this table and say that, oh, this is not good. This is not that. We shouldn't. But the people who created the problem were warned time and time again that, why? Common election in your own political party. You are rigging it so that one person says, enough, I'm gone. I will not take it. What kind of democracy is this? What kind of democracy is it?
That's the thing.
You see, so when the democracy itself is not working, you then open a door. And when that door is open, we all regret. You understand? Because it has the collateral damage is just impossible to quantify. But you have opened the door. Why? Common registration. This is that. EC. This. Why? Why? It's a simple process. None of these things are complicated. But we have managed as human beings to complicate these issues.
And even shoot. And cutlass over those issues.
And so, I'm not quick. I've stated my position. The 5 years, no. He has to be pushing towards the moon. But what he needs is to follow Obama's words. What he needs to put in place now are strong institutions.
That is the point.
He must put that in place, because without strong institutions, an independent judiciary, which will not be swayed, sanctions and counter-sanctions, checks and balances, get a good police force, and he's in a difficulty because of the volatility of that particular area.
Volatile, Charlie.
You know, so I'm not quick to but the 5 years, I agree. But was the coup d'etat justified or not? I don't know. I've not gone to Burkina, I don't live it. But if you create situations for coup d'etat to take place, they will take place. It is for us to stop misbehaving. When we have democracy, we should cherish it. And those in power should do the right things for those doors not to be opened. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. And indeed, you have rested it beautifully. Let me... One point. All right. Okay.
Uncle has asked a question. I know it is rhetorical, because at the end of the day, he has already polished all that we have said. So it's rhetorical, but let me just say something. You know, in discussing coup d'etat, we should not also be oblivious of territorial context. For example, you are using the Singaporean situation. Yes, that is Singapore. That is outside Africa. Yes. But if you give me the opportunity to use the African context, I'm telling you, no coup is useful on this continent. For example, look at what happened in Togo. Iyadama, so many years of military regime, but he left the country impoverished. Right. Then look at Egypt. This Sisi guy. Egypt today is struggling economically. Right. I can cite so many examples on the African continent.
But they're also so good. So, I mean, Libya is an example of a coup d'etat that works.
Yes. No, but no. Libya, at the end of the day, you see, no, let me tell you, no, that was not coup d'etat. At the end of the day, you don't understand. You see, our problem is that we think that we or any other people cannot formulate their own democratic system. What they do, it was their own democratic system.
Yes.
It was not the military rule. And let me explain something. Look, people don't even know the difference between the Westminster democracy and the American presidential system. People also don't know the difference between the French democratic system and the Anglophone democratic system. People don't know. And they think that we should always consume what has been imposed on us by the wise. You see, what Libya, I will argue on I can debate anybody. Libya never practiced military regime. What Gaddafi was practicing was his own form of democracy. Even in Arabic, he was saying that Hukum sharp be sharp.
How did he come to power?
In Arabic,
how did he come to power?
Just a minute. Hukum sharp be sharp. Right? That is the rule of the people by the people. That is democracy. How you pursue that is different. You pursue it according to your Western values. He pursues it according to his.
But how did he come to power?
He came to power by a military means. But at the end of the day, he changed to constitutionalism. But that is the point I'm making.
Yes.
No, we are not even using the role. But all I am saying is that, you see, let not people use Gaddafi's rule as an example of success in military regime. It was not a military regime. He came. But just as we are saying, this guy has come through the military regime, right? And we are saying that he should prepare the grounds. If he wants to stand for election, he should form his own political party.
I agree with you. But the point I want to establish is that maybe Traoré has come to power through coup d'etat.
Yes.
Maybe he needs 5 years to put in place the system that will enable him now develop their own kind of democracy like Gaddafi did, that works for Burkina Faso. That's the point I'm also trying to bring up.
Anyway. The question is, who measures the time?
No,
Why 5 years?
that's a very good
It is
question.
the will of the people.
Why one?
Yes, no. If you see, because he does not.
The beauty of democracy is
You
that
see?
if we are fed up with you, we get rid of you with the term.
Yes.
That's the beauty of democracy.
Exactly.
But you are now giving us time.
Yes.
And if you are not happy with the time, you can extend it.
You can extend it. I mean, that is not democratic.
But you
and
see,
again, look,
these things that you are saying, this is the ideal situation, the classical situation. The ideal situation, ordinarily, all of us would wish that if you are misbehaving, the thumb can actually kick you out. But in many cases, on many occasions, we have had situations, especially in Ghana, where the thumb has not done what it's supposed to do. In fact, the will of the people have been subverted by the people who are in power. So it's not in all cases.
I'm telling you, we are growing. We have come to a stage where Ghanaians should not allow any institution or any person to subvert the will of the people by mere application of statistical gymnastics. We should not. We should not.
I like the anger, the fire in your eyes.
Yes, we should not. And you understand that? And another form is civil disobedience.
You see,
civil disobedience. Uncle, 1 minute. Uncle, 1 minute.
Nobody does anything.
Yes.
I'm tempted to take 2.
And that's the point. Uncle, I'm telling you, it's 1 minute. You know, we are talking as if it is only the politicians who have the constitutional responsibility to protect the integrity of the constitution. No, it is the collective responsibility of every Ghanaian. Yes, to protect it. And I'm saying that, look, coup d'etat is not the only means of changing a government. There's civil disobedience. We can use civil disobedience. And when we use civil, it becomes rather dangerous because you cannot control the people. You understand that? At the end of the day, yes, you can. So let Ghanaians now understand that, yes, we have tolerated rigging on so many elections. You understand that? Yes. We have tolerated rigging. You understand that? And since 1992 election up to this, we cannot rule out rigging. But this is the time Ghanaians must learn to resist any form of rigging.
What happened in Senegal recently?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's proceed.
It's an interesting topic, though.
A very interesting topic, and I think we need to have a public lecture at Pan-African Television on the because you cannot tell me that coup d'etat is bad.
No, we are not.
In its entirety.
So you have unconsciously stated your position.
No, you cannot tell me that it's bad in its entirety. I think it's what to do with it that matters.
I think that what you meant to say is that when factors lead to a coup d'etat, don't look at the coup d'etat.
Exactly.
That's it's not entirely bad.
But the coup makers, are they not going to use existing structures to rule the country?
Solo. Anyway, I'm only.
Yes, let's proceed.
Progress. Let's proceed.
Yes.
Let's proceed. Let's proceed. You said our daily. Hey, this Muhammad Baumia's picture is nice, pal. Can you have a look at it? Very nice picture. Where is daily analyst? Okay, I mean, I think this story has been captured quite extensively by the very many newspapers we have here. But daily analyst. Because the newspaper belongs to a friend of mine, I have to look for it. Otherwise, he will sue me.
Solidarity.
Daily Analyst newspaper this morning. Ghana's public debt hits 658.6 billion. 658.6 billion. Ghana's public debt has seen a significant increase of 47.4 billion within the first 2 months of 2024, reaching a total of 658.6 billion. This accounts for 62.7% of the gross domestic product by February 2024. The external debt stands at 380 billion, which is equivalent to 36.1% of the GDP. These figures were reported by the Bank of Ghana in its May 2024 Summary of Economic and Financial Data. According to the data, Ghana's debt was 611.2 billion at the end of 2023, but it rose to 626 billion in January 2024 and further increased to 658.6 billion in February. The increase in debt can be partially attributed to the depreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies in the wake of the severe impact of the
COVID-19.
Dr. Mazo, please let's.
Why? You should have.
Severe COVID-19 Ukraine war, right? Now Gaza war. I want to complete it for you.
but you're not wrong. The truth is that you've not seen the newspaper, but you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. You know, I don't know it, but I'm a man of common sense.
COVID-19.
Yes. Please proceed.
Ghana's debt, right? Let me restate that I am not an economist.
Okay.
I don't know anything, but I'm a man of common sense. So I understand when the economy is good for me, I must feel it. Don't come and quote any economic theory in the textbook. You see, if you give me the textbook definition of economic prosperity, I will have to justify it by my own experience.
Yeah.
So I am speaking based on my own experience, not because I am an economist. I'm not. Far from economist. I'm a linguist. With all humility. Communicator. All right, so Ghana's debt. I mean, we should, this story shouldn't have even featured here. I don't know for whatever reason, because it's obvious. And it is largely due to economic mismanagement. What I do not know is the amount of the debt and how long it has been accumulated. Whether it started from this regime or the previous regimes, I do not know. But to be frank with you, I don't want to waste too much time on this, because, I mean, at this time, when we all know that the economy is largely challenged, that it is IMF controlled, that it is based on instead of Ghana beyond Ace, we are now even Ghana below Ace. Below Ace in the sense that you cannot even get the Ace. You understand that? So it is a matter of economic mismanagement. But let me also conclude by saying maybe it is true that it has been so because of COVID-19, Ukraine war, Gaza war, and maybe Alabama war, any other war on the continent and in the world. I rest my case.
Your case? Look, I got a little livid. That's why I didn't continue.
But I've continued
I would have thought that in 2024, there's no business having conversations about 2019. I mean, countries have moved on. People have adjusted. People have found a way of resuscitating their economies. We are still suffocating and reeling under the effect of COVID-19 by reason of heavy mismanagement of the economy. And look, let's nobody lie to us that it is not as a result of mismanagement. It's clearly as a result of mismanagement of the economy. So, I mean, this thing about, you see, I think, okay, anyway, what I think doesn't matter.
No, what you think matters.
But I believe that when the NDC get the opportunity to come to power,
why not the
all
movement?
these people, or the movement?
I'm trying to discount the
I'm not discounting. I'm not, sorry, apologies. Or the movement. I didn't even end my statement. There was a comment there.
Okay.
Dr. Adese and all those people,
Yes.
they have to be investigated.
Exactly. I agree with you. 100%.
Because you go on printing money, okay, which monies we don't know what we use for.
Yeah.
You go on borrowing, which money we do not know what we are. Now you are telling us that it is as a result of the depreciation of the city. Who is causing the depreciation of the city? And now you are adding to NDC or movement for change. When you get up, the way you suffer to rebuild the economy.
They have messed everything.
Solo, let me come to you.
But Kwame, this is the end of the topic. You see, this whole thing, Kwame, it is not just enough to say that our debt is 658 billion and then that is it. People are really suffering.
So do people fear God?
No. People don't know God.
I don't think people know.
They don't know.
How can you fear what you don't believe?
They don't
Anyway.
know. I mean, they will tell you that we use the name of God to go and get votes, but we don't believe in what He stands for. So they don't fear God. Forget about them. It's rather unfortunate, Kwame. You see, in the wake of all these borrowings and so on and so forth, you know, students are stranded in Morocco.
Yeah. So
Morocco alone. In UK.
Look at that.
In the US,
Look at that.
everywhere our students are. But let me I'm not cutting you
No,
short.
they're coming.
This one, not from Get Fund, but from the scholarship secretariat.
he needs to clarify that.
It's very important.
Dr. Mazouk has to clarify that. Yeah,
Not from Get Fund, but from the scholarship secretariat.
How
How
is
is scholarship
Yeah.
funded?
No, the scholarship secretary. No, I don't know how they are doing because I don't know anything about scholarship secretariat. I'm close to Get Fund. I'm a board member of Get Fund, so I know Get Fund. I know how Get Fund works. Get Fund has structures. Get Fund rules out the scholarships periodically. We are online. We have our application. We open the portal at a time. Students apply. We do the due process. We select and then we award. Scholarship Secretariat, as far as I know, doesn't do that.
It's buga
buga. So all those problems are coming from the Scholarship Secretariat and not from Get Fund. People don't even know. People think that when you talk about scholarship in this country, it is Get Fund. No, no, Get Fund. And Get Fund has been a fund that has brought a kind of symbiotic relationship between NDC and MPP. You know, it was John Rawlings that started it. And when Kufuor came, a visionary leader, he saw that no, in spite of political differences, let's continue with it. So you realize that Gabra was the first administrator of Get Fund. Even in Kufuor region, Kufuor didn't sack anybody. He made them continue. Today, Get Fund has saved a lot of Ghanaians, saved and served a lot of Ghanaians. You understand that? So that one has been intact.
Have they collateralized any of your money?
That's why it's a political decision. I don't know. That one is for politicians. So we are in as policy makers. You understand? We don't know what is happening in the political front.
No, but it's important to know if I want to give 10 scholarships and I've been given this amount of money, I can give 10. If that money is not available, I have to give only 5.
If you want scholarship and it is genuine, we can give you. That's what we know as board members. We are not politicians. Whatever the politicians do with the fund is their own problem. We are not politicians. We don't do whatever politicians do. We don't talk about whatever politicians do. And we are not
just
even
take your money
interested.
which you are allocated
for us, and then we do it. But scholarship secretary, they don't have things like that. It's just like Ghanaian parlors, buga. You go and see somebody, a big man, and then
they pay bribe, not that they pay bribe to them and they give to them.
Where a big man, an untouchable person. An attachable, very.
No, they pay bribe. Don't try that. They pay bribe to this scholarship secretary.
So I have decided to make this difference so that people will know one, that Get Fund is different from scholarship secretariat. Two, that Get Fund is not in a mess. It is another scholarship secretariat which is in a mess.
They have been taking bribe. No, No. Okay. So Kwame, it has exposed the country that if you use propaganda to govern, the standard of living of the people would expose you. The government is telling us that because of depreciation, which I agree, because we borrow in this forex. So once the cedi depreciates, automatically you will need more cedi to go and pay. Hence, our debt portfolio going up. But if we were engaging in production, we brought onto ourselves planting for food and jobs. Now you know why tomato prices are skyrocketing. I understand that Burkina Faso, there is a tomato company that has been opened there.
Of course, because they produce for years.
Yes. So now they are not bringing their raw tomatoes to Ghana. And lazy politicians, lazy ministers, the minister that is supposed to concern himself, busy himself with the planting for food and jobs, is buying a hotel. Not interested in the food situation of our country. But give these people the opportunity to come and address the country. They'll bring all sort of data. I wonder where they get the data from. Conjure data and come and tell us. The reality of the day is that go to our markets. We can't feed. To the extent that that situation found its way on BBC. That they had to dedicate about 5 minutes to talk about how food prices are skyrocketing. When this world was created, 3 things are basic. If government, you can't do anything, these 3 things, you must make sure you do it. Food, clothing, and shelter. Once you do it, I'm telling you, you have your peace of mind.
And none of them is
and that is what is lacking. Food is missing. Clothing, clothing, people are even going naked, so it's nice. Shelter. In the evenings, Kwame, go to Kanesi, go to Circle, go to Malamata, you see human beings. And we ask ourselves, what are our leaders doing? Do they think about the poor? The governor of Ghana, you are right. That he has to be investigated. Because you see, the stability of the currency is his core mandate.
That's his core mandate. It's not the finance minister.
Oh. No, he is supposed to do that using monetary tools.
Policies, yeah.
This man only knows, and that's why I've been saying that any next administration, Mr. Alan Chabanti's administration, he should not go and bring any finance minister who has a background in Harvard or Yale. They don't understand the Ghanaian system. I'm telling you.
Serious.
We must bring people who were schooled in this country.
Yes.
Who did economics in this country.
I'm telling you.
Who have had parents or had some stint with Makola, Okaishi, Magazine, these locals.
Indigenous knowledge.
That's because some of the things that we do in terms of policies, it does not make sense anywhere. Kwame, why is it that every time our policy rate is going up? Every time. So if you are a farmer, or if you are somebody who is interested in farming, and you want to enter into that venture, you go to the bank to go and borrow. They say they are giving it to you at a rate of 40%, 45%. How do you go and farm and pay back this loan? So the country is now relying on foreigners, imports, to feed our people. The day they will have a change of mind that we are no more bringing the food to Ghana, crisis. And this is what has happened in our tomato sector. We are a country where we depend a lot on rice. But see where our focus is. Cocoa. Do we eat cocoa in this country? If you want to solve the problem, at least balance it. Let rice production go up. The first time I visited Honorable Black West constituency, I got mad. That you have such a vast land here, and the country is not putting it into any good use. In terms of rice production.
Go to the north.
So what sort of economists are we? Go to the north. Vast lands.
I'm telling you.
And we cry in this country. You are complaining that your city is depreciated. Why wouldn't it depreciate? So these boardrooms, you know why as a politician, I don't like going to meetings. Family, when you attend some of the meetings, you get mad. The kind of ideas that come, it does not build the nation.
No, but I mean, I still struggle to understand why we invested hugely in free SHS, because Zimbabwe is the most educated country on the continent, and yet they are the poorest.
Kwame, we are
the poorest.
Kwame.
So why we focus so much on education when we can actually invest some aspect of the money in agriculture?
No, but Kwame, it's not. We are not even investing hugely in free SHS.
You see.
No, I mean, if in terms of the allocation.
How much have we paid to SHS? We have not invested hugely.
Correct that.
Yes.
Which
I also
Education is the key.
Yes.
No.
But when you put the education is important.
Yes.
No, you are not getting my point. I am saying, and I still stand by
Yes.
it. You can receive it anyway. But I'm saying that if we over-focus on education to the detriment of the other sectors, which will actually give you sustainability, then what are you? Because if you educate people and you are not investing in agriculture, when they finish, what are they coming to do?
So that's
the point I'm making. That there must be a balance. You can't focus so much on education to the detriment of the other sectors. That's the point.
I still disagree.
I would rather say that.
You can disagree with me.
The focus must rather be on technical and vocational education. You see, we are doing more of grammar education.
Thank you. Now you are coming.
Go to our universities.
But so that's the education I'm talking about.
Yes,
what system of education we have?
Generalize.
But that is the education we have now.
Yeah.
So if I generalize it in the conversation, then you can say that, well, perhaps we should focus on this.
The type of education we have
Exactly.
is not helping us.
But that is it.
Okay.
Education is education,
so
especially the one that we practice in
so that's our grammar
Okay,
education. Because if we have a university like Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, listen to the name, Science
My
and
brother,
Technology.
I did sociology there. Don't come in.
That's why I have a problem with you. How do you go and do sociology?
in a technical university. Sociology in a technical university.
Sociology is a scientific subject.
Thank you very
But
much.
social science, not physical science. That's social science. It's social science. So
We didn't have economy. The way that I do that, I still have economy.
All these semantics are not helping us. You just have to know what you are. This is why even the Bahama has said that.
Yes.
This renaming of places, we will name them according to what they do.
Exactly.
So if you say Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, when you are going, you know that is their main focus.
Exactly.
if you have University of Mines and whatever, you know that that is their main focus. It doesn't mean they don't do other disciplines.
Yeah, but
But
main
their
one
main
is
focus is this is where.
yeah. So look,
University of Development Studies, you know that this is their main
development.
focus. UHAS, University of
Health
Health and Allied Science. You know that. So that is where, instead of trying to find political names to give to people,
So
assign institutions with political names.
Upper,
Is that what you are saying?
University of Education.
That is some people.
Upper West Campus is named after who?
Somebody.
Is after the former Council of Elders.
when they wanted to do it to Jerry Rawlings, he refused.
I remember.
Even on that,
they wanted, yeah.
So what is
So look,
it is our own making. This government has disappointed a lot of souls. So much. To the extent that now, you know, the city is now on a free fall.
Charlie, right now they'll be terrible. This one is 16 cities.
Kwame.
Dollar?
So a dollar.
And we are not having a word.
16.
You see the last time, the first time.
Is it not?
Yeah, 16, it's already 16. We have entered the
The
16.
pounds will go.
As for 20, we don't even think about it. As for
Are you
pound.
going to get some?
No, if you have small, keep it, because very soon to get to 40.
Very soon you start saying your
I'm
children.
actually happy. This
sell
man
your
will not be
children.
able to change pounds to go to UK and go and chill and live here.
And then
We there here, we are struggling here.
the dollar has reached 60. I know people are going to perform Hajj. Is it next month or so?
So $100 is now what? $1,600.
They started
now
going.
So
we need-
$100 is $1,600.
Yes.
Wow.
So those going to perform Hajj, they will need almost 100,000. Bad governance is going to lead people from not performing their pilgrimage. NPP,
Your former party.
the former party.
Your former party.
My former party. We warned you.
We warned you.
No, when I was here, it was beautiful. When I left, it became something.
This mess.
Dr. Marzuk, what I want Dr. Marzuk to know and understand is that no particular system is permanent, and so system of governments keep on changing, and all these boils down to the kind of leaders driving a particular system. No system of government can endure for a long time when the leaders have become thoroughly corrupt and not working in the interest of the majority of the people. If Dr. Marzuk understands democracy, he will come to the realization that democracy had been planted on by our colonial masters to recolonize Africa. He should name one single so-called democratic government in Africa that is calling for the expulsion of colonialism in Africa. It's a very long.
I think that guy
by
is,
Said Mboko.
maybe he's speaking to another Dr. Marzuk, not me, because I have made all these points. Yes.
Good morning
And
to
I've even cited Libya as an example.
Yeah. Good morning to you, KOD. Salam alaikum, Alhaj Marzuk. I don't support coups, though, but this Western democracy is not good for Africa, just as good roads are not for Ghana.
Good roads.
Is that, check how we drive crazily when we meet good roads and end up killing the carefully innocent ones on our roads. Give me from Accra setting this one. Give me Charlie this one. You are giving a good father impetus not to do around. Good morning to you, KOD. This is no joke, not a joke. Seeing the debt this government alone has, Ghanaian MPP leaders and Nana Bawumia can be this bad. They borrowed all this 658.6 billion and yet no track record to point at. And yet the laws of our country will let them go without charge. But today, let me go and steal 1,000 Ghana cedis to help me pay my fees. And I will be held accountable immediately and kept behind by Seydou John Paul, former SRC President Tatu. All right, thank you, Seydou John Paul. This one says, good morning to you, KOD. I salute you and your panelists. Please kindly inform Ghanaians that progressive forces have an upcoming meeting, and therefore all interested members are encouraged to contact Bless Headband Alomaso.
Must be stopped immediately. How can he organize a meeting for progressive forces when we have not called for any meeting? We have not sanctioned it.
Under the circumstance,
You want to permit it as
I
a
want to
president?
permit it.
Oh, really?
You see, I will explain to you. I will explain to you after the show.
Kwame, be careful.
With the greatest respect, after the show. Bless Headband Alomaso on 0243 526
Oh, bless.
6. Yes, so that they can be added to the Progressive Forces official WhatsApp platform. Thank you, Martin from Lakeside Estate Community. Yeah, but she